Dorian, would you like to help us today? I think he would. He's kind of a bit, I mean, he's always a mama's boy, but he's been following me around all morning, and I think he just wants to be close, right? Or at least that's what I tell myself in my Delulu head, that he just like loves me so much he doesn't want to be without me. Today I have a 5-star predictions video for you. So these are some books that I think when I read them they are going to be 5 stars. And honestly, a lot of them are kind of ones that I've been putting off, which I don't know, does anyone else do this? When you think that you're gonna have a 5-star book, you almost like put it off, which seems weird, but I have been, especially since I've been in such a slump. I'm out of it now, but I didn't want to read any of these while I was in my slump because I was like, I think I'm going to love these books and I don't want to take my slump out on them. So without further ado, these are just some books that I think when I read them, they are going to be 5 stars for me. And first off, this one is kind of cheating because I've already started it, but it's Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. I started this, I don't even know how long ago, and I have just made pretty much zero progress. I think I'm on chapter 3. Here's the thing, it's not the start of this book. The start of this book is actually wild. It pulled me in right away. I'm very, very intrigued by it. However, I was having some hand issues for a while. I think with like all of my typing, cross-stitching, like repetitive hand motion, my right hand was giving me some issues and it literally hurt to read physically. But that's kind of like gone away now. So I just don't read that many books physically, but I didn't want to pay $10 for the ebook when I already have this one. So I more so just need to get my ass in gear and read a book physically to get around to this one again. But the premise of this one basically is our heroine, she's sleeping, or like she's casually hooking up with one of the 5 brothers, but then one night at a party she ends up hooking up with another and she doesn't know which one it is. And then afterwards I think it's kind of like her exploring her relationship with the various brothers. I love all of Penelope Douglas's books. I love Tri-Six Venom or Tris-Six Venom. I know I'm gonna get corrected on that. However you say it, that book, love that book as well. And I'm really excited. I think Five Brothers is going to be a big hit whenever I do finally just get my ass in gear and read it. Maybe I'll actually take it. I have a wedding this weekend, so maybe actually I'll take it with me when I'm like traveling, because this cover, I mean, I don't mind reading smut in public, but at least this cover, it is like a little discreet. Let me actually just go through the physical stack that I have here, and then I'll go through the other ones that I have that I don't own yet. Next up is King of Sloth by Anna Huang. This is the 4th book in the Kings of Sin series. Not only do I think I'm gonna love this just because obviously it's A, Anna Huang, and B, I've loved the 3 other books in this series, but this couple specifically, we have seen glimpses of them, obviously as Anna Huang does. She always like drops, you know, crumbs of the other characters in the previous books, but I love Sloane already. I think she's great, and Xavier I think it's very much like Black Cat and like Golden Retriever type energy. Like even the little bits that we got of him and the other books are more so kind of like hearing about him. I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna love this dynamic. She's his like PR person, I think, and he's like this playboy heir billionaire, and he needs to like clean up his act a little bit, and she obviously is the one trying to do that for him. I don't know, I'm just really excited about it. I've wanted to read it since it came out, but I just like have not been in the mood for it, and again, I don't want to just read it just because it came out and I was excited for it when I'm not in the mood. So I am holding out, but I'm very excited whenever I get around to this. I know I'm gonna love it. Next up, another one in the series. You will notice kind of a common theme. A lot of these are in series that I've already started and read, just because obviously then I know that the author's writing works for me and I know that I already kind of like the world. So again, this is another book in a series, and that is The Penalty Box by Odette Stone. This is the 3rd book in the Vancouver Wolf series. They're all hockey romances, but this one, I think our hero has some mafia ties in it as well. I loved the first 2 books in this series. I think I'm really gonna love this one. I love a good hockey romance so much. Odette Stone's writing right off the bat like sucks you in. It's just so easy to read and so bingeable, and once you get started you don't want to put it down. Again though, I feel like when I have these books physically, which I think this one is in Kindle Unlimited, I feel like I don't prioritize them because I don't like reading physically. I like reading just on my Kindle a lot, but I do need to prioritize this one because I've had it for so long. And yeah, I think this is gonna be a really good one. And also actually she's his PA. Oh, love that. Okay, I don't think I realized that actually. Next one, this book might as well be the Bible. Do you see how massive this book is? Like compared to like another thick one, it is still like, this book is huge. That is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. So this is the third Magnolia and BJ book, but it's the fifth overall in like the Magnolia Parks universe. And again, here's the thing. This I pre-ordered, got it like a few days after release, and I was so excited to dive in and have since fell out of the mood, partially because yes, this book is huge. And I'm like, physically reading this is literally going to be a chore. So I actually need to see if it's on KU. I don't know if it is or not, because that's the thing, I don't like buying ebooks when I own the physical ones. But this is literally, it'll be like rereading House of Flame and Shadow, like that thick ass book. But I can't obviously really say anything too much plot wise because it is the third book for Magnolia and BJ. But the way that The Long Way Home ended, I was like devastated, and I was so excited. I was like, I need this third book of theirs now. And then, of course, just it's now since sat on my shelves, but I think I'm gonna love it. I love Magnolia and BJ's relationship. Especially, I thought book two, like I loved book one. I was sucked in with them in book one, but book two just gave so much context to why, even though they're like so bad for each other, they can't let each other go. And I'm just really excited to then see, like, I think this is the conclusion of this book. Yeah, it is the dramatic conclusion of their story. And I'm just really excited to see like how they finally resolve everything. Next up, this one now I have been putting off mostly because I need to be in a good mental state to read it, because the first book was devastating. It was so emotionally heavy and just, it was hard to read at points. I loved it. It was beautiful. I loved everything about it. It was a top 10 book of last year. But I have not been ready to read book 2 in the Lost Boys Duet. If There's a Way, this is Will and Way's second book. And if you've read the first book, you just know these characters have gone through it. They are going through it. They have basically just been thrown like one curveball after another. Sorry, my mom called me. I don't remember where I was talking about with this book. It's just, I just want good things for these characters. But because of how like emotionally devastating the first book was, I just truly need to be in a good place before I pick this one back up. But I'm very excited for it. Jesse Walker's writing was beautiful. And I just really I just want the best. They just deserve so much peace, love, and happiness. Next up, we have the second book in a duet, but it follows completely different characters, but that is Hush by Liza James. This is the second book in the Pandora's Box duet. And listen, if you guys are new to my channel, then you probably haven't heard me talk about Vibe, but if you've been around here for a while, you've heard me gush about that book. I love that book. It is one of my favorite dark romances, and this one is the second book in the duet. However, the reason why I haven't picked this one up yet is just because it does follow other characters, so I just haven't been like motivated, I guess, but I do think I'm really gonna like it. You did get introduced to these two in Vibe, I want to say, but I don't think you really got a lot. I don't know. I mean, Vibe has like dark culty vibes, and I don't know if this one will as well. Honestly, I can't remember anything about these two characters, and the blurb doesn't really give that much away. I just think I'm going to love it because I've loved every book I've read of Liza James so far, so I don't foresee me not liking this one. And my last one that I own physically is Soul of a Witch by Harley LaRue. This is the third book in the Souls trilogy, and I have loved both of the first two, and specifically why I think this one in particular, I actually think this one might end up being my favorite out of them all, because Everly, our heroine in this one, I have been excited for her since book 1. Since she was first introduced, I was like, oh, I'm intrigued by her. She's a witch. And then I think the hero in this one is a demon, but he's like her demon that she kind of like owns. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by it. The world building in this is so fun. The plots are good. It's hot, obviously. Like, Harley LaRue has never done me dirty. So I think I'm going to love this one. I'm actually calling it, I think it's going to be Her Soul to Take, which is the first one, and that's my favorite so far. I think this one is going to top it. But once again, haven't gotten around to it because this is the last book that I have to read that is currently out on Harley LaRue's backlist, and I just don't want to be caught up because I love them, I love their books, I love their writing, and I don't want to not have anything to read from them. Does that totally make sense? I don't know, but it's kind of where I'm at. However, with it heading into fall, I think it's time that I just like bite the bullet and read this one. So I think I'm gonna love it though. Okay, now for the ones that I don't own physically yet. Pirate Girls by Penelope Douglas. I don't own this one. I actually don't know why I don't own this one. But this is the second book in the Hellbent series, and I loved Falls Boys. Kind of similar with Five Brothers. I've never not loved a Penelope Douglas book. I've never given a Penelope Douglas book less than 4 stars. And most of their books are 5 stars for me. So I don't see that this will be any different. I actually started this one back in May, back when it was released. However, I had just finished God of Fury, and that, as we know, Legacy of Gods put me into the worst reading slump ever, and I didn't want this book to take the brunt of that, especially not right after finishing God of Fury. So I put it aside. I only got like 10% in, but I love it. All right, I was like very intrigued by it, and I love Falls Boys. It's like a second gen series, so I think I'm really gonna love it when I pick it up. It's just, again, haven't picked it back up. Now here's one. I know you guys were probably all like, why haven't you read it yet? Yeah, Our Little Secret by QB. Yep, again, another new release from a favorite author of mine that I have not read yet, because once again, reading slump, and I was not about to take that out on QB, because you guys know I love QB's books with my entire heart and soul. And especially I loved the first two. Like, you don't have to read them, it's just all part of the like Secrets universe. I like love those two books. I love all of her books. I've read every single one in her backlist. However, when this came out, I just like, I knew I couldn't do it to this book, so I haven't read it yet. But again, I do think I'm gonna love it. Once again, gonna enjoy it whenever I get around to it. It's like a billionaire cheating romance and like boss employee. Love. Next up, okay, this one has like no information out about it basically. So you might be like, why is it a 5-star prediction? And simply, Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. Dark hockey romance from Rena Kent. I don't need to know more, quite frankly. I don't need the blurb to say that I think that this is going to be a 5-star book from me. We know how I have been with Miss Rena Kent this year, okay? She has single-handedly given me 6 of my favorite books of the year with the Legacy of God series, put me into the worst reading slump of my entire life, and I love hockey romances. I love dark romances. Why would I not love a dark hockey romance from her? So I don't know, literally nothing else out is about this book, but I just know it's gonna be 5 stars. Next up, Hamara by Scarlett Drake. This one, oh my, I've had this downloaded too. Well, now it's returned because my Kindle Unlimited subscription ran out and I didn't know that, so it returned all my books. But I've had Hamara downloaded for months and months and months. It's an K-pop rock star romance. This cover is beautiful, and when I was scrolling through stock photos for the Take What You Want cover, I found the guy that was on this one, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so cute. Like, he had really good stock photos. I was like, okay, Scarlett Drake. And also, I just think this cover is amazing. It's one of those that, again, I think I'm just gonna love. I love rock star romances. I love this cover I think is beautiful. I don't know, for some reason, it's just giving me 5-star energy. I can't explain it. I haven't read anything by Scarlett Drake, so like, I don't know if I'm gonna vibe with the writing style, but there's just something about it that I'm like, I think I'm gonna love it. I think it's gonna be 5 stars. So it's giving me that energy. Kadia by Carrie Lake. I actually started this one yesterday because I am buddy reading it with Sam from Sam Reads Little. We've been wanting to buddy read it for so long because she really loves like fantasy, gothic kind of like books, and I really love student teacher, and this combines both of those. So I actually started this one. Well, I've only gotten through the prologue because also the prologue took me so long to read. I'm like, oh my god, this is a thick book, first of all, and also I'm like, the writing was already just dense in that prologue, and I was like, fuck, this is gonna take me forever to read. But it sounds like I'm already very intrigued from the prologue and like based on the premise of it, and with it being like this dark, spooky gothic kind of setting, and then you add in student teacher. I don't need to be told more. It's giving 5-star energy. Also, this cover, obsessed. And maybe that's part of it too. The cover is giving me 5-star energy, so we will see. And last two, Greenlight by Jessie Hall, another new release that I was really excited for and have not read yet, but this is Jessie Hall's newest book. I have really loved, obviously, the other books that I've read from Jessie Hall, so I already know that I like her writing style. And this one is a dark step-sibling romance, and everything that I've seen, like all the teasers and stuff, it's just, I'm really, really excited about it. I think it kind of like has everything that I love. The only thing that could potentially keep it is that there is, I think, animal cruelty in it, which I'm like, why? Especially because like I think Jessie Hall was like a veterinarian or something. I'm like, why? I can't deal with that. But I think Nikki had actually sent me like what part of the book it's in, that there is some, and it's like, that would be literally the only thing that could potentially keep it if like that ends up being very traumatic. I mean, though Dark Notes by Pam Godwin is a 5-star god tier book for me, and that was single-handedly the most traumatic scene I've ever read in my entire life in that book. So I don't know, but it's more so like I'm keeping my eye out for that in this one, but otherwise I think everything else about it screams everything that I love. And last but not least, Venom by Rebecca Wright. This is the second book in the Forbidden Goals series. we know Head in the Game, top book of the year for me. That's a football coach athlete one. And this one is like in the same universe. It's not like a series, like you could pick this one up without reading the first one, but this is an stepbrothers soccer rivals romance. I loved Rebecca Wraith's writing in the first one and how she wrote a forbidden romance. So I have high hopes for how she writes the step sibling trope, and that it's not just going to be like insta lusty. I don't love soccer, but I love sport, like rival sport romances. And once again, I like and I love the step sibling trope. So I think I'm going to love this one. So yeah, that is all of my 5-star predictions that I have right now. I think I have a lot of great books up on deck. And now that I'm pretty much out of my reading slump, I'm really excited to finally be able to dive into some of the books that I've like been anticipating and just didn't want to take out my bad mood on them. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I don't know what I have going up. I think I'm going to do a rec video next Tuesday, but I don't know if I'll have enough for student teach. I'm trying to give you guys another student teacher one, but I did just finish one that I really enjoyed, so I can add that one, but I don't know if I have enough. So I need to check on that. Otherwise it might be toxic romances. Those are kind of the two that I'm eyeing of doing next. We're already into Chat Chill Get Ready with Me and like wrap up in TBR time, which is crazy. September went by so fast. So anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.